Hello and welcome to another video of F1 2013 Career Mode from Mr. Miz Nation. It's episode 7, it's Montreal, it's a Gilles Villeneuve circuit, and look at that, green tyres. Finally, rain in a race. We haven't seen this all season. It's just been dry, dry and dry again, and it's just been pretty dull some of the races, but we have seen a bit of rain in qualifying at Malaysia, but apart from that it's been there really hasn't been much rain at all, to be honest. But R&D parts failed once again. Not really much of a surprise there. They've been pretty poor in terms of putting R&D things on, especially after they went to the aggressive path. Also, qualifying, my best qualifying to date, I have put it back up to legendary. I knew that I'd be pretty good around this track and also the upcoming tracks as well, because I do like the upcoming tracks apart from maybe Hungary. Until Singapore time, then it starts to get a bit more difficult for me, but the car should have developed by then. But qualifying was incredibly close. I managed to get through Q2 and Q3 relatively easily. Grosjean was a big faller, down in 17th along with Jean-Eric Vergne, obviously. Me and Button pushed Perez out in Q2, which means he starts 11th, but it was so close for pole position. I thought I had third place. To be honest, I mean, I was doing pretty well in qualifying. I mean, it was Alonso from Vettel from me, and I got blocked by Alonso on my final run, so I just retired thinking I had third in the bag. And all of a sudden, Rosberg comes and puts a flipping worldie in, goes 700ths quicker than Alonso, and then Hamilton and Webber squeeze it in front of me, and there was 0.199 seconds between the top six, with Massa only 2/10 back from me. Was Raikkonen pretty close to him as well, so if it's anything like qualifying, this race is going to be seriously close. And was in intermediates as well. Anything could happen. It could go to dries, it could go to full wets. Who really knows what's going to happen, as it's my first wet race on this career mode. 88%, so you would expect it to be around for quite a while in this race, if not through the whole of it. Quite a long race this, 18 laps, so with the rain this may be my longest career mode video to date. As we're going out on track now, I haven't raced in quite a while as well, so this may be a complete calamity in terms of my driving in this race, but I really think I can get a solid top 10 in this. It's not too hard to rain by the looks of it, but Nico Rosberg, very impressive in qualifying. I was not expecting that from him at all. Luckily we beat Nico Hülkenberg in qualifying as well. That's quite crucial for the teammate battle. I've started to kind of catch up with him in terms of that a bit in the last couple of races after my disaster in Spain. But here we go, 5 lights, and they are out now, out pretty quick. We've actually got a decent start. I expect to get Paul, and Hamilton's got an absolutely brilliant start. Now Massa coming through brilliantly there as we're trying to go round the outside here, squeezing our way around the outside. We're up to third now. Alonso could be up the inside of Rosberg, and he is, and we're up to third. So this is where we thought we'd qualified at first. Vettel having a look around the outside. Alonso and Rosberg side by side. Oh, Alonso's out. Oh, I've spun. Oh, that's a calamity. Oh my lord, if I get a penalty. Oh, well, we haven't got a penalty, but unbelievable stuff. Rosberg gets into Alonso. I was just a passenger there, but those two are looking incredibly feisty. And Perez getting all tangled up there. He loses a position to me now. So very shaky start from everybody here. The front two are completely gone. I believe Hamilton might have lost a front wing as he brake tested me almost there. I believe Hamilton has lost his front wing. Yes, he has. As it's caused mayhem behind. Raikkonen's off. There's a massive pile up. Unbelievable stuff in this race. We're up to 4th. Felipe Massa up to 3rd. So we've kind of gone back and forwards there, to be frankly honest. I mean, I have no idea what has happened. I believe Kimi Raikkonen might be out of it. Hamilton's having to pit. I have no idea what happened to Alonso in that whole scuffle. I believe Rosberg's winning from Vettel, but I'm not quite sure. We'll see at the end of this lap probably. So can we catch Massa is the other question as we hop over that curb. Oh my god, we're being very careful there. I'm really hoping this goes dry because I have better pace than dry. So Massa is obviously in first, not telling who's in first, but we can clearly see that Vettel's like completely lock up, and I've completely missed the first corner. And well, that's a big disaster there, really. And I was going to try and talk about the real Moto GP race in this, but with the amount of action that's going on at the moment, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to. as Webber's right on my back now. I'm not going quick enough at the moment, but 4th is a very good position to be, despite getting up to 3rd initially. I mean, this has been a crazy race so far. As Webber's looking fast, it looks like Perez has lost a bit of his wing. It just seems to completely broke up the field, though, this all this stuff that happened on the first lap. As Perez is getting harassed by Hulkenberg a bit, he's kind of dropped off slightly there. Looks like Massa's catching the front to a bit as well. He's definitely pulling away from me, but Webber's also pestering me badly here. Looks like William is up to 9th as well there. I think it's 9th, or is it? Actually, no, it's 8th, sorry. So Williams up to 8th place, so it really has shaken up the field as Webber's getting a nice toe here and a slipstream off the back of me. He may go for a move up here, which could be slightly risky. No, he's not gone for it. He's chickened out like the AI usually do. I'm not really hitting that last corner too nicely at all at the moment. I just can't quite get it turned in perfectly in these wet conditions. Massa really is pulling away from me at the moment. As it looks like they're getting a bit close behind me into turn 1. I believe Hulkenberg has got past Perez. In fact, Webber's lost 2 places there. Perez and Hulkenberg passed Webber there, so I'm not quite sure what happened to him as we corner cut that corner pretty horrifically. But that might give me a bit of breathing room because I seem to be at least on pace with Perez. As Massa's still pulling away from me at the moment, so not great in the wet conditions at the moment. Even though I do like the intermediates compared to the wets. If it goes to wets, we're going to have a big problem here. It'll be interesting to see how well these tyres hold up as well. Apparently it's a 1-stop, which you would expect, as Perez gets a much better run on me through there. Massa is definitely catching the front too. Massa is on an absolute charge in this race. He's putting his 2008 self out here as I run wide through there. That's very poor from me. Oh my god, almost lost it there. Almost crashed into Perez Alonso style. And now Perez is having a look up the inside. We've already had a collision in Catalunya, but it looks like he's going to make it fairly simple round the out, or up the inside there even. Hulkenberg, my teammate's having a look as well here. So the 2 people that I've got... Oh my god, Perez has broken in seriously early for that corner. I have no idea what he was doing there. So, oh, I've got a penalty. Unbelievable. Caused a collision. Well, this race is, well, that's frustrating because this race was going brilliantly well. And I mean, I can't really see what I did there. I mean, Perez seems to be the death of me this season, to be frankly honest. So we're going to have to, well, we might be able to scrape into the top 10, especially considering how short this pit lane is. But on Legend AI it's going to be very, very difficult. That's incredibly frustrating. I have no idea what I did wrong there. I probably could have used a flashback, which is a real pain in the arse. The one flashback that I have. So Perez just seems to be the most frustrating man on the grid for me. He's just causing all the problems for me this season. I mean, he took me out at Spain, and apparently I took him out in this race, which I clearly did not do. It looks like Webber might be up the inside of Perez here as well. So this is definitely going to be a big, big task to get back into the top 10 now, unless there's more collisions. At least we might be able to look who is in the top, who is out, sorry, and who is still in the race. Hulkenberg stays behind me as we put into the pits now for this drive-through penalty. Incredibly disappointing. We might actually still get out. And we're quickly going to have a look at race director here actually. So Bottas is in 10th, Maldonado 8th, Chilton's up to 14th, Alonso down in 13th, so that's where he's fell down to, and it looks like Kimi Raikkonen is out of the race then, and Hamilton and Grosjean obviously got affected in there somewhere as well. So Grosjean's weekend goes from bad to worse. As we're coming down the this actually isn't going to affect us too badly by looks, so we're really trying to rush down the pit lane here. We may not lose many positions. We're going now. We're going to file right into the traffic here. Right into the traffic. I think we're going to rejoin the train that I was holding up initially. We're up to... So that's not gone too badly. We're really right in the pack now. Behind Maldonado, who's broken very early for that corner. He may get another penalty there. I'm not sure. Well, we've got a warning for causing collision. But at least we've got past Maldonado fairly quickly there. And luckily now this train has kind of got together a bit. I might be able to catch them up and keep pace with the cars in front of me, thanks to myself really. So back in our favourite position of 8th, where we finished in Monaco and China, I believe. After having such a great start, but we're still right in the hunt here. We should be quicker than Maldonado as well. So it's my teammate now that's going to be at the front of that queue. So let's just talk about MotoGP for a bit, since it's kind of quieted down, I guess now. Looks like, that's Alonso in the pack. I thought it was Chilton at the back of that pack having a hunt there. And we're also going to have problems with Hulkenberg now coming into the pits probably, in terms of having to stack and whatnot. Luckily, teammates are coloured, so you can see where they are. But anyway, MotoGP, unbelievable race. Flipping, Lorenzo takes the lead, crashes out. Bradl takes the lead, crashes out. Flipping, oh, it looks like Vettel's up to third. Oh, sorry, down to third. So Massa must have gained a place there. Felipe Massa on a right charge here. But yeah, unbelievable stuff in the MotoGP. Marquez and Rossi, unbelievable battle. One for the ages, really. I mean, it was flashes of Rossi versus Lorenzo and Catalunya in 2008. Unbelievable stuff between them two, really. But Lorenzo and Bradl crashing, especially Lorenzo's crash, that was pretty amazing. I mean, he completely trashed the bike, to be honest. And also, very unlucky for Bradley Smith. I mean, he was running up in a brilliant position, threw it all away. Typical British style there, really. Cal Crutchlow seems to do it every race last season. In fact, when Bradley Smith went down, I literally said he did a Crutchlow. And I also said, holy shit, when Lorenzo went down as well. Great result for, well, I was going to say great result for Bautista, but then he obviously went down as well. He was doing so well. He had a great weekend. But great result for Espargaro. A lot of people tipped him for the win. Obviously, he had a very poor qualifying in the end, going down twice. But he was able to recover a bit from the race, avoided any collisions. And yeah, it worked out nicely for him. Nice to see Danny Pedrosa getting on the podium as well. Very nice podium. Marquez, Rossi and Pedrosa. And Scott Redding also was a brilliant performance in with Grassini as well. So brilliant performance by him. And it's slightly worrying here in this race because I'm actually losing time to the pack ahead despite them battling quite a bit. Oh, what am I doing there? That's poor driving from me. I have no idea what I was thinking there, but I seem to be relatively pulling away from Maldonado apart from that last lap. Or sorry, that last corner, I should say. We're starting to really-struggle with the tyres now. I may pit on lap 8 just to stop any problems between me and Hulkenberg. We have lost a shed load of time there to both Maldonado and Webber, sadly. But I mean, in the wet conditions, it's just heightened these difficulties with commentating and racing at the same time, really. I think we're going to put it down to standard because I've been getting a lot of wheel spin since I turned it up to rich, and with worn tyres, that's not exactly helpful either. As, oh my god, we've taken that corner very, very hot there. Just about hit the apex in the end. But yeah, this is going to change the championship dramatically, really. As this is getting frustrating, just seeing that pack battling up there and not catching them up, and knowing that you should be in that pack if it wasn't for Perez, really. I have no idea why he broke that early, as we're still in 8th then. So looks like we could lose out to our teammate as well there, as I take those corners a bit poorly. I apologise for that. But yeah, in terms of the races coming up, I mean, I love Silverstone, really. I used to hate it, but I do love that track now. It's one of my best tracks, to be frankly honest, and I really think I can do better than 8s there as well. I think qualifying will be something special because we're starting to find the qualifying pace now, to be honest, in this career mode. We've just got to try and relate it to the race pace now, which is slightly more difficult because I'm not commentating live in qualifying. Well, apart from when I go, holy shit, when Rosberg puts in a storming lap at the end of qualifying. It looks like Alonso might be trying to carve his way through into the points as well. Hopefully when we go into the pits, Hulkenberg won't be in there. And I was just trying to listen up there. So stopping in 10 minutes, so we may see an end to the rain here, which makes my decision to pit look a bit stupid, but we are coming into the pits now. Hopefully we'll gain time. I can't see us losing time, so it looks like Alonso is up to 10th now. So net 11th, really. Not the best pit stop there. It looks like we could come out in a nice bit of clean air here as well if we can get out in front of Chilton here, which it looks like we're just about going to do. if we come out behind Chilton, that could be our race over, really. No, we've just filled out in front of him. That is very, very crucial because he's holding up a massive train there. It looks like someone's gone off. In fact, I believe Bottas has just Bottased himself into the wall, Australia style there. And I'm going to have to avoid him now as he's going very, very slowly up to this corner. We're going to have to brake a bit early, though. I don't know if he's lost his wing. I don't think he has. No, he hasn't. So that's slightly frustrating for us that Bottas may hold us up slightly now. We may have to try and negotiate past him at the hairpin or down the straight as he's going very, very slowly. We're going to go round the outside there. Nice move round the outside of the Williams. Me and Bottas have seen a lot of action this season. And once again, we see it there. So it looks like Alonso is carving his way back into the points. But that crash is severely going to hamper his championship chances, especially with Vettel up there. In fact, Vettel's going to benefit massively in the championship with Hamilton and Alonso getting involved in those first lap, just those first lap mayhem, really, to be honest. There's no other way to put it. It was frankly just mayhem. As we're going to have to go quickly round this corner now. Looks like we're going to defend from Maldonado relatively easy, and it looks like we're still going to come out behind the other lot as well. We're going to have to hope that the AI starts doing or just all start doing Bottas even. I cannot speak at the moment. This last few laps have just been terrible. Looks like Bottas might hold up a bit, a couple of the rest of the drivers as well, so that could help me quite nicely. As we're starting into a groove on these new tyres as well, so waiting for Satil to pit as well here, and then we'll be completely freed up back into our normal position of 8s. But who knows where I could have been if it wasn't for that. If it wasn't for the crash at the first few corners and the flip-in drive-through penalty, I could have potentially even been on the podium. But that's life, I guess, and that's Formula 1. Looks like a couple of people in Hulkenberg's train have stayed out, so that could benefit me nicely. But 10 minutes, he said it on lap 8, I believe, so just when I was coming into the pits. So, I mean, let me think, that's going to be probably lap 15, 14, I'm not quite sure. I cannot figure it out whilst I'm doing all of this. But it will be before the end of the race. The question is, will it get good enough, I should say, really, to go to dry tyres or not? And should I save my fuel for that? It looks like Hulkenberg's got a massive gap up there. In fact, I'm not quite sure who is in 5th because they seem to have fell off Hulkenberg quite massively there. It looks like Mass is now back to 3rd place, so his pass on Vettel seems to have been diminished now. And it looks like we've got a massive gap to behind as well, actually, so not quite sure what's happened there. It's now the rest of that's in 9th. It looks like he's quite far behind us, so I don't know if Maldonado's got involved in some kind of incident. It wouldn't be surprising. But I have to say this has been our most action-packed race of the season, and not really too much of a surprise. Canada always provides action, drama, and obviously rain. We really are in the middle of nowhere now in 8th place, to be frankly honest. But whoever is in 5th does seem to be holding up Webber and Perez a bit here. So my teammate is up to 4th. This is going to be a brilliant result for the constructors in terms of gaining points on especially Lotus, who are well down there now, of course, with Raikkonen out of the race and Grosjean was down in 20th, we saw when I went to the race director. So we're definitely going to jump Lotus as things stand, and luckily I haven't crashed into my teammate yet. As we're crossing the line now to go on to lap 12. Apparently we're matching race pace, I'm not quite sure about that. It would be nice for these tyres, not these tyres to dry out, the flipping conditions to dry out. We're also going to have to be wary of Alonso behind as well. Once he's freed, he could be a serious threat catching me up, especially if it goes dry. But it does look like the rain's easing a bit, I guess. But it's going to have to ease relatively quickly. These are short laps, to be frankly honest. And we haven't had the 5-minute warning yet either. It doesn't look like the rest is catching us up much either. So I'm also surprised it wasn't... Oh, just as I say that about the 5-minute thing, he says the 5-minute thing. As we've run slightly wide through there. Took that pretty poorly. So 5 minutes, oof, it is going to come about lap 14, 15. So, this could be very, very interesting. You could be very, very ballsy. I remember in my co-op race with my mate, it was the other way around. It was going from intermediates to wets. And I gambled, went on wets on the last lap and managed to gain 3 places up into second. It was a brilliant moment for me. Took 2 cars at the hairpin perfectly. So yeah, it can be done around this track. It does change very, very quickly. As we're just losing time hand over fist here, really. Not quite sure why my driving isn't good enough. It's just maybe not getting on the power well enough. I mean, I'm keeping up with DeResta relatively well. Yeah, apparently I'm dropping a second per lap to Nico Hülkenberg when I was destroying him in qualifying. So, I mean, I just got to try and translate qualifying pace to race pace, and I never thought I'd say that, to be frankly honest, because usually it's my race pace that is better, but I've started to sort out my qualifying pace. I mean, my qualifying pace used to be like 14th and 12th, and I'm now getting into the top 10 relatively well, and now my pace in the race has been a bit off, to be honest. Maybe it's just because it's been raining in this race and I'm not quite suited to those conditions. As we're... Oh, slightly messed up with the camera angle there. Not quite sure what happened. Yeah, we are losing so much time now to Perez and really not sure what's going on. We're losing time to DeResta as well. Tyres aren't really going off, luckily. As Vettel sets a stormer of a lap there. So he's really looking good for the championship, and Rosberg might start coming back into it. So yes, okay, they just told me Sebastian Vettel set the fastest lap, I believe, which is a bit stupid. I just saw that. Jesus. Right, so for lap 14, still doesn't look like it's going to go to dry tyres at this very moment. But the rain does look like it's stopping as we slightly cut turn 1 there. We gained a bit of time on DeResta through there as well then. Not quite sure if Alonso's through yet either. So yeah, this really needs to dry out very, very quickly. It'd be interesting to see if the AI went on dries at the end and I was on intermediates. That could definitely spice things up, especially with a short pit lane and the 3 or 4 in front even coming out just behind me. It's getting a bit of wheel spin there. So it's kind of been a tale of 2 halves really in this race, in an F1 race of all things. Because, I mean, the first half was action-packed mayhem, and this has just been a calm, cool and relaxed drive here in the second half of it, really. Maybe similar to Monaco, actually, to be honest. They all seem to be, the action just all seems to be happening in the first half of the race, and then it's kind of gone a bit dry and sour. Yeah, I know I have a 5-second lead over DeResta. Stop telling me pointless things, race engineer. Oof. Well, this rain is definitely interesting at the moment. We have 4 laps to go, and it could very well go dry quick enough. As we hit that relatively nicely there. Sadly, there hasn't been any collisions in front either, unlike what happened on the first few laps. But oh, ran slightly wide there. But yeah, me and DeResta just seem to be on equal pace here in the race. So in terms of qualifying pace, I'm up with like the Mercedes and the flipping Red Bulls and McLarens and all of them, and on Ferraris, just as Alonso sets the fastest lap there. So obviously the intermediate tyres aren't quite going off yet, as I probably wouldn't. But then in terms of race pace, I'm on pace with like flipping Force Indias and I was about to say Saubers there, but Force Indias and Williams is at points, especially those Force Indias. The kind of cars that are on the cusp of the top 10. So definitely that pack of three's catching Hülkenberg a bit as well. I don't think this is going to go to dry tyres, but you never know. Oh, I don't know, actually, looking at this straight, it is drying out. So, oof, it looks very dry down here. I mean, is it worth taking a gamble? I mean, do you consolidate 8th place, or do you go into the pits? I mean, it could very, very well be dry on lap 17. Looking at the conditions now, because the rain has virtually stopped. Tough decision to make, especially since I'm 10 seconds down on, well, make that 12 seconds down on Perez. So I mean, it would be an almighty task to jump Perez or any of the cars in front of him. It looks like Alonso's now onto the back of DeResta as well. He's definitely been pushing through the fields, whilst I'm not quite sure the other cars have been though. So Hamilton and Grosjean might be having a bit of a difficult time. Come around that corner nicely. In terms of a Malaysia race preview, well, actually, first. In terms of MotoGP, I'll probably do race reviews for every other race. I just didn't quite have time on Monday to put one together for the MotoGP, and I think it's a bit too late to do one now. As these conditions do look very, very interesting. Is it ready for dries? I'm not quite sure it is. But I mean, it is virtually, well, it has dried out now. Oh, this is a tough decision to make. I'm trying to test out the wet parts of the circuit, but I mean, there is very, very little. I think I'm going to carry on for another lap, and I'm going to have a look at it at the end of this lap, and I'm going to see if it's good enough for dries. Because if I get onto dries, I should start flying, but I mean, I think it's a bit too risky just to go on dries at the moment. It is very borderline. Looks like the rest is losing time to me. But the first sector still looks quite a bit wet, so I'm not quite sure with that one. The last sector is definitely ready for dries in my opinion. We're catching up with Perez a bit there in the first sector. I mean, the advantage that I'd have on dries is the fact that I would the cars in front are battling quite heavily, so that would help me definitely. I'm still not sure. There is still spray coming off the tyres, but here it's definitely dries in my opinion. We are starting to find a bit of pace against Perez now as well, so I do see that it's not overheating yet though. That's a crucial thing. So, I mean, if they were overheating, I could see a reason to go into the pits, but I think I'm going to stay out. I think it's just too risky to go on dries. Hopefully, no, it doesn't look like the AI have gone on dries either, but maybe I'll be a bit better on the tyres in terms of if it does go to dries. Oh, I thought I saw a car off there on the mini-map. The guy in 5th, but obviously not. I'm just going mad. We're definitely pulling away from the rest there incredibly well here. So we've just started to really get on pace with the cars in front of the worst possible time, kind of later in the race here. So, which is a bit odd, frankly, considering I pitted earlier than anyone else. Just as I say that, it's a pretty poor first sector from me there. Yeah, this race has actually gone relatively quickly in the end. After all the mayhem of the first lap, I'm definitely going to have to look at that one back on the footage. It's Nico Rosberg has crossed the line, so he's miles in front. But Nico Rosberg, that's a very big win for him. I believe it's his first of the season as well, so that's very, very crucial for him, as I thought I saw a bit of front wing there. Oh my lord, it's not nice breaking into that corner now. It's definitely ready for dries in the last sector, but it doesn't really matter, to be frankly honest. I do wonder if Alonso's going to get the rester as well. But we're going to gain points on quite a few cars, quite a few of the cars around us. But sadly, Perez and Hulkenberg, two big rivals, have nabbed points off us again. Not quite sure what happened to Jenson Button, to be frankly honest either. I don't know if he was in that pack. I believe he was. But we're about to cross the line. Another 8th place. It's our third 8th place of the season. Funnily enough, the championship prediction for me is 8th place as well. Sadly, I didn't quite finish 3rd or above. 4th is a brilliant result for Nico Hulkenberg. Sauber's best result, eclipsing my result in Australia. And look at that, it was Fernando Alonso just behind, pulled a rest there. So Mark Webber was in 5th, so he was actually holding up quite a few people there, which is a bit odd. Fernando Alonso was flying, he just got stuck behind traffic. So Grosjean and Hamilton were able to get back up to 14th and 15th respectively, but I mean, it still wasn't really good enough for them. Kimi Raikkonen DNF straight away, so he has no fastest lap time at all. So that's definitely going to shake up the championship a bit. Great result for Felipe Massa, very, very close actually between the top 3. As we continue on now to the championship standings, and Vettel now dominates. 36 points ahead of Hamilton. Webber jumps Fernando Alonso once again. I was at the top 5 also have a chance at the championship, but I mean, those are whittling down. But I mean, I still think it's incredibly close between Massa down to me. Well, in fact, Massa down to Grosjean, who had another poor race. But I mean, very close between me, Perez, and Hulkenberg, and Jenson Button. So the battle between the flipping McLarens and Sauber's rages on. Raikkonen definitely fell back in that race. Massa was a big gainer really, and it looks like Rosberg's well away from the rest of us now as well. Force India picking up points very close between Force India, Williams and Toro Rosso. And look at that. Only 10 points separating McLaren down to Lotus now, with me and Hulkenberg sandwiched in the middle. Looks like Red Bull are going to coast the Constructors' victory as well, but that 4th place battle is definitely one to look out for as we continue now. But this has been a great video to make once again. I mean, slightly disappointed with 8s after the drive-through penalty, which I don't think was very, very just. I mean, it shows Codemasters' penalty system again. But thank you for watching, and until next time at Silverstone, goodbye.